Namaste. My name is Svetlana. I'm expert of face reading and corrective palmistry. Yes, in our hand we do corrections. I tell you later about it. I'm not a fan of Bollywood life, but with a stream of negative information of SUSHANT since identity has encouraged me to make this video, and it carries the symbolic character of the human he was. In first part I give you characteristic of the face reading and the second palmistry. A little bit I tell you what is it face reading. Face reading is a science. The face of person conveys to you information about him, about his state, emotions, the inner world. Enough look at person's face to learn his strength and weakness of his character. Reading face, knowing a person's profiling without his name and address, can be in the sense with assistant in various professions as seller, managers, bankers, police officer, and all areas of business. The ability to read the face of a competitor is like air. You already one step ahead. And we can look to person's subconsciousness. Any signs of the face are possibilities that we could work on ourselves. When we look on the face and see more birthmarks, scratch, scars, or move in face, it's such signs they are only signals of periods for which you need to prepare, working on yourselves, solving some psychological difficulties, driving out resentments, doing self-knowledge. The science is harbinger. The harbinger is like an exam. A person must work on himself, then he pass the exam. If not, the exam may come ahead of time. If you have some scars, we need to accumulate positive emotion as much as possible. React to everything that happens in life positively. The universe always gives aggravating facts that we would show some kind of negative. So it's necessary to rebuild ourselves. The fate forces to work out specific fact that he ignored before, and until a person works this out, he cannot move on. All life we are students. Each of us is responsible for yourself. And if person has a test, bad luck, bad things in life, in this case it's necessary to thank the universe for this lesson that it brings. We walk through meditation, yoga, gratitude, good and positive thought, help other people. Believers walk out their difficult stage of life. Signs of good luck on his face. I tell you now. We look at this picture. In what period we will be more lucky?
मेहनत तो बहुत लोग करते हैं, इतनी किस्मत बहुत कम में होती है.
हाँ नहीं, मेहनत मैं कभी बोली ना
ये कैसे?
कि मैं कभी ये नहीं बोल रहा कि टैलेंट जरूरी है.
हाँ.
या मेहनत जरूरी है. कड़ी मेहनत जैसे लोग बोलते हैं. हम अपने आप को फूल करते रहते हैं हम हर समय कि यार इतना अच्छा होगा तो मतलब कुछ ना कुछ तो कॉम्प्लिकेटेड होगा ही. तो मतलब बहुत मेहनत लगती होगी. लेकिन ऐसा है नहीं.
लेकिन हुआ कैसे ये?
वही मैं बोल रहा हूँ.
You are probably at the right place at the right time.
नहीं ऐसा तुक्का नहीं होता.
फिर
तुक्का नहीं. और अगर एक बार लग भी जाए तो बार बार नहीं लगता.
बार-बार नहीं.
ये सिर्फ एक ही चीज की वजह से होता है जो हम इस फिल्म में भी दिखा रहे हैं बेसिकली, कि नो मैटर आप कहीं से भी हो, सारी हिस्ट्री अगेंस्ट हो, फैक्ट्स अगेंस्ट हो, लेकिन अगर आपको कैसे भी अपने आप को लॉजिकली कन्विंस करा दें कि जो आप सपना देख रहे हैं वो हो जाएगा, तो वो हो जाता है.
Oh, when you need something very badly, it conspires.
The universe conspires and it manifests for you. उसका बाय प्रोडक्ट ये होता है कि आप टैलेंट भी कल्टीवेट कर लेते हो, आप मेहनत भी बहुत कर लेते हो, क्योंकि आपको और कुछ समझ में आता ही नहीं, आपको वही करना होता है। तो लोगों के हिसाब से तो आप बहुत मेहनत कर रहे हो, आपके हिसाब से आप मजे कर रहे हो। तो सब कुछ बाय प्रोडक्ट, लेकिन बिलीफ सबसे इम्पोर्टेंट है।
किसी की दुआएं लग रही हैं आपको, कोई है जो बहुत ज्यादा दुआ कर रहा है आपके लिए?
दुआ लगे तो अच्छी बात है।
Sushant ji has very good of Palace of Fate that you can see V on his head and from both sides, right and left and between. Again I show you. This is big luck of Sushant's face are horns, it's called. Horns on the forehead talk about additional energy from the top. As the Chinese say, it's energy from space. They comparing this with full flowing river. If we see bulge on the forehead, then this indicates an additional source of good energy, happy luck. Very important, it's necessary to watch not only your words but also your thoughts. They have properties to come true. Therefore, be more careful with your desires. A long hat gives the qualities of a revolutionary. Such a person prefers to be always in motion. For a long time, he cannot be in one place. This exposes his shortcomings. He is always mentally in the future. He lives in full confidence that everything will be. From here an unusual ambitions, aspiration to glory, popularity, recognitions of his genius. He is sure that he has all the talents at once, and is slightly upset if others have not yet noticed this. They have little interest in material benefits, comfort. For them, moving forward in order to achieve certain goals is important. He is obsessed with his thoughts day and night without stopping the flow of thoughts. With age, life teaches you to be flexibility, to look more careful on the sides. The older a person, the more everyday wisdom in him. Then you can see jaw. Jaw represents what a person can do. Sushant has a medium jaw. Such a person is able to break thought animals. The main thing is to choose the right direction. And he chooses the direction with slight pause for reflection. He goes all the way. Quick reaction, vulnerable. Such people live well. They understand that it's necessary to work with the brain tricks. The width of the jaw is wide, is the ability to hold its position, and the length is punching abilities. If you look at the jaw from the side, you can understand how determined the person is to be in charge. But do not rush to labels him. This only biological abilities. Much depends on the upbringing, social status of a person and his life situation. The jaw pushed forward shows us that we are faced with a fighter who can strike. In general, we can talk about the courage of an individual with a protruding jaw. Courage is the manners of behavior when a person overcoming fear goes forward. The shape of the chin indicates the method of human influence on the world. He is the front of any jaw. A pointed chin speaks of the impulsivity of its owner. Most often these are various manipulations that give an instant effect. This is an innate talent that is present in itself, and her artistry, easy in any matter, and even childish attitude to the task set. The owner of such a chin achieves everything gracefully without much concentration on the process. Mouth. This is more important facial elements. Mouth speaks of the appetites of a person. I want reports on the request of person, his ambitions. SUSHANT has a small mouth, a little closer to the middle. A person with such a mouth is very electable in communications. A man with a small mouth is capricious. Sometimes it's difficult to understand him. In the process of life, the mouth increases, and we can see the small limiters are triggered locks. This like biological brakes controlling human appetites. So, the framework in which person restrains himself. The right side of the face is responsibility for logical and is controlled by the left hemisphere of the brain. The right side symbolization the public. This right side, sorry. Public life of person. A person is afraid in matters to go abroad. Most likely he is not sure of his abilities and capabilities. The left side of the face shows the emotional life of person and is controlled by the right hemisphere. The left side reflection a person's personal life and emotionality. We have a little bit small blockers from both sides. Its distance from the edge of the mouth look like wrinkles on the cheek, small, often perceived as dimples. Man restrains himself at the mental level, at the level of principles. As a rule, these are impulsive people. Lips play a huge role in the process of capture. The presence of lips gives a person the opportunity to try what goes into the mouth. The upper lip is responsibility for basic things, and the lower lip is responsibility for action on circumstance. Therefore, the difference in thickness as indicate of what information is more important for a person. The lower lip is thicker. This is sign of eloquence, the ability to convince. Tightened lips to the center will only feel what they are interested in. He is on the shelves. The left part of the lips, you can see, is a little raised, which indicates infection. I want to take more, give it away. The lips are dominated by the sign of Venus. We can also see on his hand, I tell you later about it. The front lips is curved in the center. It speaks of the selectivity of a person, the ability to build complex schemes in simple issues, intellectual. Therefore, curved lips need rectilinear and full lips in the console. Therefore, it was easy for his girlfriend Ria to manipulate him and give advice. You can see in the picture because she has a thin lips, then opposite to SUSHANT's. Face reading analysis of both lip partners signals the initial impossibility of living together, misunderstanding and different thinking give a crack in the relationship. With the help of teeth, the mouth is fighting, tearing, biting, killing. If the teeth are in order, then life was successful. The front teeth show human activity. The root teeth show the ability of a person to bring things to an end. Another thing if the teeth collapse. This happens when a person experiences fear. Large flat teeth speak on the openness of a person. If the teeth are caught, especially lower, then it's difficult for a person to make a decision. He loves between different options, considers the issue from all sides, presents huge demands on himself. Often he does not dare to take some step due to internal emotional. Nose. A person with such nose constantly acquires new knowledge, skills. This is an entire student who loves to learn new. The back of the nose is long. This indicates the ability of a person to strange hidden informations. A long nose speaks of the mind and wisdom of a person. He cannot be fooled. He doesn't have to hide information. He is going to figure it out. The thin back of the nose feels all the nuance and subtleties. A person is comfortably lonely. He does not like the crowd. Fragility, refinement, offensiveness are inherent in people with such noses. He has concave back of nose. The back of the nose carries such qualities as adaptability, social cautions, frightened. A person with such a nose can be bent somewhere, something to inspire him. He is not just surprised in that in childhood most people have just such noses, but only over time they became straight or humps appear on them. After all, a child from childhood needs to obey adults, but only with age does he acquire the right to vote and begins to influence others himself. The manipulation and spoilage of some children is not at stake here. When such a child falls into an unfamiliar situation, he is not able to take power into his own hands. He is just not taken seriously. The owner of this nose likes to help everyone, if not human, then animals. He has a thin tip of the nose. A man with such a great nose is expert. He sniffs the slightest nuance which is from any other but not from him. He is calm about money. The lower tip of the nose, you can see, speaks of the psychic abilities or genius of a person. A person is able to go further than others. He does not know how to play according to other people's rules. He creates them himself. The wide base of the nose is a place where the nose is attached to the face. The wider the base of the nose, the more thoroughly and more stable its owner. It's firmly on its feet and the strands will give way. The wings of the nose are wide and open, they talk about a person's temperament. The more air enters the body through the nose, the more energy a person has for life activity. The wing of his nose is a little more than him. A person has an explosive character, but he knows how to hold himself in his hands. The holes of his nose are open. This speaks of the openness of the temperament and curiosity of the person. He instantly sniffs everything and throws himself into battle. As I told you before that right talk about professional life and left talk about personal affairs. The edging of the wing, this is called edging, of the noses is different. On the right side, it goes with the edging which suggests that he is interested in something specific society, but there is practically no left wing. You can see he is free, like the wind does not make plans but hopes for fate, and he brings him where he needed. Such a person reads everything in row, has a wide horizon. He grabs all over the place little by little without being attached to thought and movement. Line from the nose. This indicate how much a person is altruist, enthusiast. Adrenaline adventure is important to him, and of course accumulates fame with a lifestyle. He has very short groove, a good situational player. A person with small eyes does not need sentiments. He himself logically calculates everything. He has a lack of imaginations, so he obeys all logic. The round line of the lower center speaks of the openness of a person. He is here and now, always ready for new acquaintance, new emotions. Perhaps he is too trusting, light-hearted, and often wounded and vulnerable. He easily falls in love, subtly sends worries, easily lets the interlocutor with large eyes into his face. The proximity of the eyes give the person a good reactions. He's here now. He lives today and does not notice about tomorrow. Quickly gets the result, everything is fine, clear. A wrinkle coming from the eyes like sacks gives compromission line. It occurs when a purposeful person encounters the realities of life, and this reality makes adjustment to his goal. This is, cheeks. It's talk. The fuller the cheeks, the more energy the man has. In Chinese face reading, the lines on the lower part of the cheeks are called lines of need. A person faced poverty in childhood and maybe in life some process, and he has to reclaim his place under the sun. According to the Chinese element SUSHANT's personality approach 3. Practicality, logical, enthusiasm, activity, dominance, self-confidence, straightforwardness, thoughts for knowledge, discipline. The 3 loves order and rationalism. So at home everything will be clear, spread out in place. Work is suitable for him where there should be order, logical and competition. This is jurisprudence, IT, estate service. A person will always continue to study, no matter what Olympus he is on. Energy is direct up energy actions. The ability to pave the way and walk along it. In the case of failure, it may be harsh to fall in the dangers, it may be rude. The low location of the eyebrows to the eyes, you can see, indicate the suspensions of the person as well as his contact. This is a practical person who knows how to achieve the goal set. Such a person can be sociable when he needs to. He is able to spontaneously express his thoughts, quickly considers what needs to be said, loves to contract everything. A person of a more mental mind, emotional artist. But there is some strategist, unpredictability in business, critical attitude towards himself. Forehead is a zone of consciousness. The presence of bulge and wrinkles. In each zone has a thought in meaning. Between the eyes, when the folds frown here and now. A border of life responsibility. In the middle, in the ego zone, between, is the label V. You can see. Lucky. But the ego zone is always present. There is a sign of the artist here, the departure for turquoise in the center. Forehead is medium, pitched. The combination of temperamentary with rhythm, excellent perceptions of informations and more balanced and thoughtful decisions. Center forehead palace career. His even ambitions, reaching heights. But there's a thought a person needs to engage in self-awareness development. The temperament zone is influenced by tree, and this is growth, hard work, actions. The temporal proportions of the face, there is irregularities on the surface. This has a tendency to bad habits. This tendency has psychological roots and an attempt to escape from the flow of thoughts. It's difficult for such a person to relax, and he finds a way to do this with the help of alcohol, drugs, or any other triggers. Or he found another way and he completely goes into work and stops noticing life around him. It often happens that a person with such temperaments is engaged in yoga and self-knowledge, which implies entering a changed state of consciousness, that is meditation. This is a good way out of person with such a feature. This means that he intuitively found the most harmonious way to pacify his nature, even heal his body. From the years, you can see determined the ability of person to hear the farthest perspectives. Large ears help a person easily perceive and process a large amount of information without experience overloads and discomfort. The height ear has an excellent reaction. Everything grabs on the fly, but he is impatient and he is announced by someone else's slowness. He tries to find a solution as quickly as possible, so he often draws to bad conclusion. Tremblet ears show that a person is aimed at dividing information. He is focused in his process. It's often seen that he is not from this world, but this is just visible. In fact, he constantly catches information and puts it in his database. Often, a person with drowned ears can deeply experience injustice. Now I tell you about some negative thing in his face, and we will compare it with his work. Please look on the screen. You see two faces, one a male and another female, and some numbers on their face. This is all numbers talk about age of human. Any bulge, mole, scar, it's a sign on the face. It shows to us that we should work on ourselves. Such signs, they are only signals of periods for which you need to properly prepare, working on yourself, solving psychological difficulties, driving out resentments, engage in self-discovery. As I said above, the universe always gives aggravating facts that we would show some kind of negative. So, it's necessary to rebuild ourselves. This time is a fracture in human life. We can see some signs with good and bad period in his life. And with that, excuse me, whereas he was 17 years old, we see on this picture and this, he has long scarves. His mother passed away, and around from 70 to 20, this was difficult time for him. And then, whereas he was, and before I told that he has locks from the universe, not this is picture before I showed you, it's V, and from both sides, very big horns, it was lock. He has bulge of forehead above the eyes, eyebrows, and even see around 23 and 5, because this is V. We will find that it was 2009-2011 came movie serial Pavitra Rishta. It was good period for him and lifetime. Then 2013 Kaipoche Shudesi Romance, and this again good period of him. He was 27 years old. 28 he was B in good position, eyebrows super. Then 29, you can see at the beginning from age 31 and 30. The density of the eyebrows was very good, the flow of energy, and by the age of 32, eyebrows skinny, and 33, his eyebrows became less common, less energy. And as you can see on these years, 29, but Nietzsche, 33, he has scars at the end of the eyebrows. And we will see 33, it was 2019. It came 3 movies, Soncheria, Chichori, Drive, but I don't know about this movie, but I think this was not good in the box office, what I saw in informations. Yeah, Chichori maybe was good, but another movie was not talking about so successful from information what I got. And you can see scars or between on the nose, and he has some mole, Akekinichi left side. It's 34 years. What I can say is that this period was very difficult for him, and each of us has psychic influence on the people around us. Who is the next to us? Who we think about? Who thinks about us? And depending on what laws we use, we either improve our lives or destroy. We attract to our lives these things and circumstances that are felt with ourselves. But if we admit that we feel anger, resentment, aggressions, fear, disconnect, and begin to walk out this, then we are transformed. I know many stories of my personal life and my friend's life, but thanks to change in our consciousness and its action automatically change in the situation. One day I just listened to one of his interview where some journalist asked him about he was striving for some things, and he jokingly answered, I want to look like mobile phone. It's all people care about. They are in it all the time. They are in all the time. And then they will look at me and constantly poke a finger. And he was shown by finger touching to mobile phone. His dream came true as a happy man. Everyone is watching his picture on their cell phone right now. Our thoughts are being realized. Be careful not only to speak, but be careful also to think. I wish that his soul be rest and peace. Learn to read the face of people, and you will discover many secrets.
Everybody knows, everybody knows, that's how it goes. Everybody knows, everybody knows, everybody knows, that's how it goes. Everybody knows, and everybody knows that it's now or never. Everybody knows that it's me or you, and everybody knows that you live forever when you've done a line or two. Everybody